So the work I was planning to exhibit at SIAF 2020 was called The Hidden Life of an Amazon User, which was finishing to be produced at the end of 2019, so it's a fairly new work. And the way we envision it to set it up, actually it's the first time I thought about setting it up the way I would set it up for the festival itself. So we would print 10,000 pages of code. Then would have some sort of display with an Amazon box, which would include a book, and then would have a projection and a video that would run an interview of myself explaining the work. So the project itself, it started when I purchased a book in Amazon. And while I did this, I tracked the amount of interfaces that the Amazon website forced me to go through, the minimum steps required. So in June 2019, which is when I started to produce the project, it was 12 interfaces. But I also tracked the code that was running on Church to run this, all this, basically the online operation of Amazon, was more than 9,000 pages of written code. And this is insane, right? And the project really talks about how the user is not just exploited by means of free labor, meaning that every time that we're going to a website, all our online activity is tracked and then monetized, but also part of the energy costs of such operation fall on the user. Because all these operations are happening in your browser, in the browser of the user. Which is all this code that this 9,000 pages of code that is being activated in your computer, and you pay part of the costs of basically the business model of Amazon, right? And this is something that it's very important that is out there, and to put it in the eye of the users, because we don't tend to think about it that way. So the book I purchased was this one. So it was the Life and Lessons for Success by Jeff Bezos, and it has a very long subtitle. It's called The Journey, the Teachable Moments and 10 Rules for Success, cultivated from the life and wisdom of Jeff Bezos. It has a really big title, but it's in it a very, very thin book, right? And basically in this book, he explains how ultimately he got rich, right? And for me, it was more like a joke, right? To compare like size of this book with the size of the code, which is actually, again, what activates the online business model of Amazon, right? Which is actually this code would make him rich, not anything that you can find here, right? Which it's basically exploiting user behavior at large. So the piece also comes with free commission text, which is the first time I do such thing for a project, but I felt in that case it was quite important to do it because the problem that it was identifying the project, I think it was worth that some other people would reflect on this. So I asked Jussi Parikka, Hara Rocha, and Soren Polt, and Christian Ulrich Andersen, that I will write a very short essay on the piece, and the three of them just came from very different perspectives. You see, focus more on the systems that do not work. It's actually very similar to the title of the essay he wrote. Hara focus much more on the user side and the dangers of being excessively usified as a user. And Soren and Christian focus much more on the interface. So in the context of SIAF theme for this year, I think my work is very tied to it in the sense that it discloses hidden materialities of the internet, that there is several materialities, there is just not one. So I think in that sense, it tackles the materiality of data extractivism at large, which I think it's a perspective that we don't really get into. It's not really in the public arena to discuss. So I think the role of art when it comes to disclose critical processes, it can't be a possibility of digital art. It doesn't have to be necessarily. I mean, in my case and in some other colleagues' case, we do this. We just use artistic methods to approach and reveal critical processes. But again, it's just a method. There is other people that use investigative journalism practices. So the people are just academics. Other people use other very varied set of research methods and outputs. So for me, it's just an output. I mean, the aim is there. It's just a way I practice it. The aim is there to reveal critical processes and things that are invisible, and they have a lot of political agency. But I just use art to disclose it because it's my method. So when Agnieszka invited me to be part of the festival, I think it was in October 2019 that she told me, I was super excited because first I've never been to Japan, and I was so looking forward to go, especially in a city that's not in the center, right? Everybody wants to go to Tokyo, and I think Sapporo, it has to be a very interesting place for many different reasons, but I also like the snow, and that it just seemed like a complete Japanese experience, a different experience at what you tend to see as a European, right? So it was really, yeah, I was very, very happy actually. So COVID affected my work in many different ways. I mean, when I'm at home and I'm not traveling, I always work at the studio, so this didn't change really because I'm on my own. It really affected the way I display my work, even though the exhibitions and talks I've been giving, they're all online. So in that sense, it's been great for me. But I don't travel anymore. And at the beginning, I was okay with it because I was traveling a lot in the last 5 years and I was very tired. So it felt great to stay at home. But now I miss the physical encounters because there's a lot of things that happen there that now they're just not there. Like you give a talk online and then you just go out from the room and that's it. There's nothing else after that. And in terms of how the COVID informed my work, it's been actually really interesting because before COVID started, I already planned a project which I was very lucky that it got commissioned at the end of April, which talks about the relationship between the production of microprocessors and which enhance productivity. They have a straight link to productivity, and the disappearance of ecosystems, in focusing in the extinction rates, right? So how productivity enhances and how extinction rates, ecosystems got modified, and extinctions are happening of all sorts of animals, non-animals, plants, everything. So I think now it's even more critical than even when I thought about it. So in that sense, sadly, it's good news for my work. It's very bad news for the rest, but for my work, it's fine so far.